The Serpent Drake of Tokoyo no Kuni, a novel based on Watatsumi Island's folktales. The original edition of this text was transcribed on Watatsumi Island and brought back to Narukami Island by a merchant while the former serpent god yet lived. No one reads this ancient tome nowadays. Its role supplanted by all the light novels on the market. This book describes the unique cosmological outlook of the Watatsumi people before they came to adopt aspects of Narukami culture, and a recent resurgence in traditional novel publishing has allowed it to see the light of day once more. Mystery's creation conceals. The sun and moon omens reveal. Three corners in darkness shrouded, and void by five saints clouded. The universe has no beginning and no end, and so it was with the land that once was. But this matters not to us, for the land that bears us no longer has anything to do with that eternity without start or ceasing. So said the lone sage, Abe Yoshihisa, to the first Sunchild. The Sunchild had long intended to punish Yoshihisa. Summoning the sage before the throne in this manner was but an additional way of making things difficult for him before detaining him. Legend has it that Abe Yoshihisa was opened up to wisdom by the great god of Tokoyo and was able to bring light to Enkanomiya, which had till then never seen the sun. But the Sunchild grew jealous of his talents, thus imprisoning him for life. Yet these children of the sun never considered that had Yoshihisa not created that underground star, they never would have existed in the first place. The origin of heaven and earth is like the chicken and the egg, and are not dragons and snakes kin. No sooner had the sage Abe Yoshihisa uttered these words than he was overthrown by troops lying in ambush. At that time, Enkanomiya had only just been bought some room to breathe by the appearance of the sun. The Dragonair loved the dark and shunned the light, and thus could no longer act with impunity. The days when the Dragonair would rampage and graze upon humanity like so much grass had at last come to an end, for the people of Enkanomiya finally had the means to resist. Yet, it came to pass that the flaws in human nature would rear their ugly heads even before such outside threats could be quelled. The people chose Sunchild, crowned him king, and worshipped him, and yet he ruled with a brutal hand, framing the righteous. Unnumbered years would pass before a young child of Enkanomiya would make a wager with his peers. Alone, he would dive beyond the three corners, evading the trail of the Dragonair in search of a dragonbone flower. But what he found instead, within a great cavern, was a mighty serpent, one he had never seen before. Somehow, as he gazed upon the serpent's titanic form, the child felt no fear, but instead a kind of kinship. I am the Profane Serpent. Though my servants are numberless, not one mortal now dwells in my shadow. That I have fallen into this realm, and that we should meet. Perhaps this is fate. You are not one of my people, but you are human nonetheless. Speak your desire, and I shall hear it. Could you then, perchance, become our god? Thus did they, human and serpent, go forth to face the royal authority of the Sunchild and the incursions of the Dragonair beyond. Thus was the curtain raised on the turning of the tide.